I'm about to give you a test, a 10-day test that will prove that you can manifest on command. But if you try it without understanding first these two missing laws, you will fail like everyone else. So listen carefully. And before we start, if you are new here, I'm Dion Goldsmith and I teach manifestation mechanics, which means I don't do the spiritual fluff, not on this channel. I teach you the actual mechanics of how consciousness shapes reality using both ancient wisdom and modern science. I want to take everything that I teach in my longer videos and condense it into this one powerful, clear lesson. For those of you that don't always have time for full deep dives. However, I do still recommend watching my long videos because they will give you the full mastery. But today, I want to give you the essential structure just in one easy to find place. And stay with me because in this video, you will receive that 10-day practice that will show you without doubt that you can manifest on command. I won't say what the practice is yet because I want you to understand the mechanics first. But when you try it, you will see on your own evidence. Now, before we break everything down, I want you to understand why I am teaching this. I manifested my health back after cancer. I manifested love after years of painful relationships. And I went from broke and deep in debt because I was barely working while I was ill to now money flowing in from multiple directions. These results, they were not luck. They were not affirmations and not vision boards. They came from finally understanding how manifestation actually works. And I can say this with certainty because I used these exact mechanics to heal myself from cancer. Now, when doctors had said I'd left it way too late, but I'm here, I'm healthy, and I'm teaching you the same system that saved my life, but also put everything else back on track. Now, if this is already making any sense to you, please do hit the like button right now because that tells me that you want more content like this, and then I'll know to make it. Now, I've spent decades studying manifestation, and I've spent years studying ancient Indian texts. And when I became ill, I finally had the time to look deeper into both the ancient and the modern teachings. And something became very clear, that the ancients had already mapped the structure of reality long before the modern world. Modern manifestation teachers, they use fragments of the map, but they leave out two essential laws. Now, Neville Goddard, he hinted at one of them through gazing, but he didn't teach the mechanics behind it. And the second law is almost never spoken about anywhere. Not by big influencers, not by the best-selling authors, and not by most viral manifestation channels. It is the law that makes manifestation stable and predictable. And the first law is how to enter manifestation state, and that's through gazing and drishti. The second law is how to regulate your state during the day, because your state during the day is what decides whether your manifestation actually holds or it collapses. And without these two laws, manifestation just becomes guesswork. With these two laws, manifestation becomes predictable, repeatable system. So let's begin with the foundation. The real reason that manifestation fails for most people is state incoherence. For example, they say, I want money, but their body feels fear. They say, I want love, but their thoughts are just full of doubt. And they say they want health, but their nervous system is in survival mode. And the field doesn't respond to your words. It responds to the emotional signal that's underneath your words. Now, if that signal flickers between desire and worry, then you will collapse your manifestation every single time. And this is why manifestation just feels unpredictable for most people. And one day they feel healthy and something small shows up, and are hopeful, something small shows up. And the next day they feel fear, worry, and everything collapses. So the first step in manifestation is stabilizing your internal state and making it coherent. Now, coherence simply means the mind, the body, and the emotions are just sending out one signal instead of many conflicting ones. So now that we understand why manifestation fails, we can go into the steps of how to manifest in the correct state. Now, before any technique, before any imagination, before emotion, before anything, you must first know what the subconscious accepts. The subconscious does not accept long, complicated stories or scenes. It accepts one thing only: a short sensory memory that feels familiar. This is the 10-second loop. So the 10-second loop is the core of manifestation. And if you learn just one thing from me, let it be this: a 10-second loop is a small, ordinary, living scene that represents your desire already fulfilled. It must be short, simple, and believable. And 10 seconds is enough. More than 10 seconds creates strain, and strain creates incoherence. Your loop must also contain at least 3 senses: the visual, a feeling, a texture, a temperature, a movement, even a smell. These sensory anchors make the scene feel real, and your subconscious absorbs it as if it has already happened. Now, you might be thinking, Dion, this sounds simple, but I've tried visualization before and it didn't work. And that's because you were missing what I'm about to show you next. But first, let me just give you some quick examples of how to build these loops correctly before we move on to that. So, examples are simple. If you want financial stability, imagine calmly checking your bank app. You feel it in your hand, feeling relaxed as you see a line of digits that you know is plenty. Don't stare at the numbers, feel the warmth of the phone, just sense the ease. Or imagine closing the door of your imagined home at night time. You're hearing the solid click of the lock, and you're feeling that warmth sense that everything is taken care of. Let's pick another one. Imagine tapping your card at a shop. You're hearing that bleep of approval. You might be in a designer store and feeling no hesitation, the smell of the clothes. Imagine opening up your fridge and seeing it full of luxury food. You can hear the hum of the motor and the feeling of the cool air on your face without thinking about cost. Or imagine sliding onto a nice, clean, expensive bed. You're feeling the cool, the smoothness of the sheets against your skin, knowing that your bills are taken care of and everything is already handled. You're relaxed. These are ordinary moments, and they carry the feeling naturally of financial stability. For example, for love, you choose warm connection. Imagine someone that you care for, wrapping their arms around you from behind. Don't try and picture their face. The feeling of the warmth of their body, hearing and feeling their low breath near your ear, and that gentle, slow squeeze, and that safe and familiar feeling. Imagine hearing a soft, "I'm glad you're here," vibration of their voice that's close to you. while you're both doing something simple, like washing dishes, warm water running over your hands, or getting ready for bed. Imagine feeling their arm brushing against your hand, or the texture of their skin, in a natural, ordinary moment. You can imagine the smell of their hair or their skin. That familiar scent that means home, safe. So these small emotional senses, they will carry the emotional truth of real love, far more than trying to imagine a huge dramatic fantasy and trying to picture the looks of the person. So now for health. So for health, choose ease. Okay, so imagine calmly walking up the stairs, noticing how steady your breath feels, hearing your footsteps are light and even, you're feeling no strain in your legs. Imagine tying your shoes without any discomfort, feeling the laces between your fingers as the tight stretch as you lean forward is not there. You just lean forward with ease. So another one is imagine waking up in the morning, feeling fresh. Your body hearing the softness of the morning before you even sit up. Imagine taking a nice, slow, deep breath, feeling your chest opening effortlessly. Maybe tasting the fresh, cool air. Imagine the feeling of water running over your hands as maybe you're washing your face. Feel the temperature, the droplets. There's the simple pleasure of your body just working smoothly and how it should work. And these simple, natural movements, they speak directly to the consciousness because they match the quiet normality of true health. Now, when you visualize, you are not trying to create excitement. You are trying to create normality. The subconscious mind accepts what feels familiar and it rejects what feels exaggerated. Keep your scenes simple, sensory, believable, and your 10-second loop, it will become a doorway instead of a fantasy that the mind just can't absorb. Once you understand the loop, the next step is preparing your state so that the loop, it imprints instead of just bouncing off your nervous system. And this is where most people's manifestations are actually blocking themselves. They create the perfect loop, but they play it while their nervous system is in chaos. And this is where the morning belly breathing and the gazing during the day, they become powerful because they shift you into coherence. And so then the loop, it can land cleanly. So here's the morning technique. Now, when you wake up, you place your hand on your belly and you breathe slowly. And you feel your stomach and it softens and you feel it move under your hand. Now this tells your nervous system you are safe. And safety is the foundation of coherence. And coherence is the emotional stability that manifestation requires. And once you feel this calm, you can begin your 10-second loop and repeat it 3 times and then go on with your day. Now, throughout the day, your state will fluctuate. You're going to see emails, you're going to see bills, you're going to see messages, you'll experience doubt or stress. So during the day, you're going to use gazing techniques to instantly reset your state. So you choose an object at arm's length. You keep your gaze soft and focused on one point. Now, don't stare forcefully, okay? So you let your eyes relax on that one point. It might be a chip in the glass, for example. And you're looking through the point. It could be an object on the wall, at arm's length. Look through it, not directly at it. And what you'll notice after about 30 seconds to 1 minute, you will feel that your body is starting to settle. You'll notice that your breath has softened and your mind has quietened. And this is coherence returning. And then after this reset, then and only after that, when you feel this, then you can replay your 10-second loop once or twice if you want, and then simply just carry on with your day. Right, so now we need to move on to emotion. Emotion is the amplifier of manifestation. But most people, they misunderstand it. They try to force excitement. They try to fake gratitude. They try to create high vibration. But real manifestation does not feel like fireworks. It feels like safety, confidence, and a deep calm. It feels like taking a breath that finally releases tension. So stop trying to feel intense emotion. Just feel normality instead. Wealth, health, love, success, all of these, I promise you, feel ordinary once they become real. No fireworks, they feel ordinary. So make sure that that ordinary is there in the first place. So finally, we are going to speak about why you must monitor your thoughts during the day. Your thoughts tell you what state you are in, and your state decides your creation. Now, you don't need to control thoughts or fight them. You just simply need to notice your tone. So don't panic when a negative thought appears. Just pause and breathe and soften your belly and just return to coherence. And every time that you do this, the more that you do this, you will strengthen your signal. Now, you understand the structure so far. The reason that manifestation fails, how to stabilize your state, how to prepare the subconscious mind, how to use the 10-second loop, also how to use the morning breathing, how to use the gazing, how to visualize correctly, and how to use emotion throughout the day properly to maintain the signal during the day. Okay, so now you're ready for the 10-day test. But before I reveal what the test is, I need to know that you're serious about this, and you need to know. If you're still with me at this point and you're ready to prove to yourself, type below "I'm committed" in the comments. This is going to help you, and you can come back to it later. But this is going to help prove to you beyond any doubt that this system actually works, and you're committing yourself to it. So write it in the comments. Now, everything that I have taught you so far is theory until you prove it to yourself, which is why I'm going to give you a test that is impossible for you to fail if you do it correctly. And I can tell you now that the test is Neville Goddard's ladder test, but it's done with manifestation mechanics applied correctly. Now, this is not just about imagining a ladder. This is about proving to yourself that when you combine state coherence, the 10-second loop, the sensory details, the emotional neutrality, that once you combine those, reality must respond, and it does. So here's how to do it. Before bed and before waking up, imagine that your hands are holding the side of the ladder. Do your state correction first, then do your loop. So imagine your hands are holding the side of a ladder. You feel the texture of the material. If it's wood, you feel the slight warmth, the grain under your fingers, and also the gentle creak as your foot steps on each rung. If it's a metal ladder that you're imagining, then feel the cool temperature that it's got, the smoothness, and perhaps the faint scrape of the ladder feet on the ground. Look down briefly as you climb. Notice the shift in balance. The small sounds around you, maybe wind, and maybe indoor silence, the ambience wherever you are. Climb all the way to the top, and then climb back down. That could be 2 loops, 2 clean 10-second loops that feel physical, believable, and ordinary. Now, during the day, you'll repeat this as well, but only, again, after the gazing reset. So you let your eyes soften at an object about an arm's length away, it could be your thumbnail, for 30 seconds to 1 minute until your state settles. Then play one of the 10-second loops, or both of them, up the ladder and down the ladder. You can just play each loop once. Do this a few times during the day. This daytime repetition, it strengthens the imprint because it's happening when you're awake, when you're aware, and also when you're emotionally neutral. And that's important. Also, to help you remember, place some small sticky notes around your home. One in the bathroom, one by the front door, near the television remote, one on the fridge, one near your bed. 5 or 6 reminders is enough. Just on a sticky note, just placed where you naturally look throughout the day. And on each note, I want you to write, do not climb the ladder. Do not climb the ladder. Now, if you're using a different object, because ladders appear in your life so often, then write, do not think of, and then your chosen object, whatever you're imagining with your 10-second loop. Now, the reason that the phrase do not works so well is because, well, the mind, it cannot process a command without first imagining the thing that it's told not to imagine. If I tell you not to think of a green fire engine, what do you think of? This is a neurological and deep reasoning behind this. But for now, just trust that it triggers the visual automatically without effort. The point is not the words. The point is the frequency of remembering. Now, as I said, if you work with ladders often, then choose something rare in your life that's not emotionally loaded. Something that you don't want desperately, and something that almost never appears in your life. It could be a red umbrella, a purple balloon, a blue butterfly, a gold key, a yellow feather, any uncommon object. The goal is neutrality, neutral. So the imprint, it lands cleanly. And so you can build up to manifesting other things once you understand it works first. So follow this for 10 days. Morning, essential. Nighttime, essential. And whenever you see one of your reminders, keep your state coherent through gazing, and keep the loop simple and sensory. And at some point within these 10 days, that ladder or that object will come into your life. It will come into your reality in a clear, big way. Well, it'll happen through a coincidence, a conversation, an image, an event, a physical encounter with it. I've had clients that have actually climbed ladders because they've had to for some reason. It is the field that is responding to a stable signal. This test is not about the ladder itself. It's about proving to yourself that manifestation obeys mechanics and not luck. And once you witness it, once you understand it, what you will know that life will give you what you are asking for. And I promise you, it's life-changing. Manifestation is not a hope. It's not a belief. It is quite purely a structure. And you can apply that structure to anything that you want. You can manifest love, you can manifest wealth, you can manifest health, you can manifest confidence, you can manifest a new identity. But you must use these mechanics correctly. Now, if you do want the full deep dive on the emotional regulation and why it's so important, it is the foundation that makes all of this work, then watch this video next. It is where I break down exactly why your emotional state is actually creating your reality and how to master it. It's a deep dive. The video will change absolutely everything that you think you know about manifestation, and it will add to what you already know. My name is Dion Goldsmith. This is Manifestation Mechanics, where we make manifestation predictable instead of hopeful. Start today, prove it, and watch how fast life responds once your signal becomes steady. Remember, during the day, if you get caught up in any drama, a bad phone call, a bad conversation, something happening in your life where you would normally go into drama, I need you to either do the drishti, the gazing, just for a few moments, or if you can't do that, just take a breath. During the day, take as many moments as you need to in order to bring your state back to some kind of coherence instead of any other state. Emotional control is a great tool to have in life, but it's also a great add-on tool when you are starting to learn to manifest things that you really desire in life and not a ladder or a purple balloon or whatever it was that I said earlier on. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.